Tyson Fury is the most overrated heavyweight in boxing history. Oh, yes, he is. In the entire history of this sport, there has never been a heavyweight more overrated than this guy. But let me just clarify what I mean by that, because a lot of people misuse the term overrated, and therefore a lot of other people misunderstand its use. When I say a fighter is overrated, I'm not necessarily saying that they're rubbish. And in this case specifically, I'm definitely not saying that Tyson Fury is rubbish. Quite the opposite. I think Tyson Fury is a fantastic fighter. I've always thought that. I've always said that. He's just nowhere near as good as his fans have been making him out to be over the years. So as good as he actually is, his fans go way overboard with how highly they rate him. That's what I mean. For example, after he beat Deontay Wilder, his fans, people like Simon Jordan, were running around declaring Fury to be the best heavyweight of his generation. His idiot promoter Frank Warren was saying it as well. How could you possibly be declared the best heavyweight of your generation when you've only fought one heavyweight of your generation, Deontay Wilder? That's ridiculous. I've been watching boxing since the 1980s, folks. I have never seen a heavyweight come along, get one win over one guy in their generation and instantly be called the best of their generation, the best of their era. Never seen it before, but they did it with Tyson Fury. Fury hadn't beaten AJ. Later on, he hadn't beaten Usyk. In fact, Usyk's a good example because when Usyk came along and beat AJ twice, nobody was saying that Usyk's the best heavyweight of his generation because he beat this one guy in AJ, who was a long-reigning champion. No, nobody said that. But with Tyson Fury, that's exactly what they did. Fury hadn't beaten most of the top contenders. At that point in Fury's career, he'd beaten a 38-year-old Klitschko, who was one fight away from retirement. That's it. And then he beat Wilder, and all of a sudden, he's the best of his generation, it's clear. Absolute madness. Talk about people going over the top. Talk about people giving a man the crown, giving a man the throne before he's earned it. Ridiculous. Oh, but it gets worse. Because after Tyson Fury beat Dillian Whyte, a man who'd just been chinned by a geriatric 40-year-old Povetkin, Fury beats him, and now they're declaring Fury to be the greatest heavyweight of all time. I have never seen people go so overboard in rating a heavyweight in all my life. Absolutely shocking. You had idiots like Sylvester Stallone. Oh yeah, there's no doubt you're the best to ever do it. Oh, I know. Yeah, like you're some ultimate authority on boxing, Sylvester Stallone. You're a joke. All these people claiming that Fury was the greatest of all time are psychotic. Seriously. And you know, I like Paulie Malignaggi, but he's been guilty of massively overrating Tyson Fury over the years. Getting caught up in all the hype, particularly around those Wilder fights. Deontay Wilder is one of the most protected champions in heavyweight boxing history, without a shadow of a doubt. Spoon-fed, coddled, protected. The man turned down $100 million to face Anthony Joshua for undisputed. Fact. That's the guy Tyson Fury beat. Some hillbilly with two left feet. Oh yeah, he could punch like a mule, but he was a coddled fighter with horrible skills. And the clue to look for that someone has been overrating Tyson Fury all along is the way they predicted the two Usyk fights. How did I predict them? I picked Usyk to win on points both times. And I accurately predicted the way that the fights would play out as well. So I didn't just give a result, I gave detail about the way the fights would play out. Whereas the Simon Jordans of the world, the Paulie Malignagis of the world, Simon Jordan picked Fury to win both times, on at least one of those occasions by stoppage, and Malignaggi picked Fury to win the first time. Again, because these guys totally overrated Fury. The image of Fury that they had in their imagination was far greater than the reality ever was. And so even now, Simon Jordan is refusing to acknowledge the fact that he's been overrating Fury. Instead, he's saying, oh, well, Fury lost the rematch to Usyk because Fury's not the same as he used to be. I've been saying for years that Fury's on the decline, long before he fought Usyk. The videos are still up. You don't need to be a damn rocket scientist to figure out that Fury was on the decline. It was clear to see. But the point is, Usyk's been on the decline as well. He's nearly 2 years older than Fury. He's 38 in January. People saying he's only 1 year older than Fury. No, he's closer to 2 years older than Fury. About 18 months older. Usyk is not the same fighter now that he was 4, 5, 6 years ago. But it's funny that Simon Jordan had the excuse ready that if Fury were to lose the rematch, he'd just blame it on Fury being on the decline. What a cop-out. No, Simon Jordan, Fury's just not as good as you always thought he was. Same thing with Paulie Malignaggi. You've been overrating Fury all these years, Paulie. You need to get a grip on that. In fact, there was some demented, psychotic, sick in the head Tyson Fury fanboy who left a comment on Paulie Malignaggi's post-fight review for Usyk Fury 2. And I kid you not, folks, this guy said that if we're going to put Alexander Usyk in the top 5 heavyweights of all time, then Tyson Fury is in the top 5 of all time as well, one place behind him. Because according to this guy, Usyk and Fury had 2 very, very close fights. First of all, the fights weren't that close. This is some BS narrative being pushed by the pro-Fury brigade in the media. They were competitive. Yes, Fury was competitive with Usyk, I'll give him that. But the fights weren't that close, objectively speaking. There's no way you could make a credible case for Fury winning either of them. He had his moments, no doubt. But did he win either of those fights? Hell no. Just because he was competitive with Usyk, that doesn't mean he's going to be right next to him on the all-time great list for heavyweights. It doesn't work like that. Ken Norton had 3 very close competitive fights with Muhammad Ali, and he's got a victory over Muhammad Ali, of course. In fact, many people believe that Ali didn't deserve to win any of the fights. But does that mean that we put Ken Norton right next to Ali in the top 5 all-time great heavyweights? No, we don't do that. Why? Because Ken Norton doesn't have the resume that Ali has. You can't just have one competitive fight or a couple of competitive fights against one guy and then be declared a top 5 heavyweight of all time. It doesn't work that way. You see, as well as Ken Norton did against Muhammad Ali, he got chinned by George Foreman in 2 rounds. He got chinned by Ernie Shavers in a round. Both guys who Ali beat. He got chinned by Jose Luis Garcia earlier on in his career in 8 rounds. He never beat people like Joe Frazier, who Muhammad Ali did beat. He never beat Ron Lyle, who Ali did beat. It was kind of before Norton's time, but he never beat somebody the equivalent of, let's say, a Sonny Liston. It takes a resume, a body of work to get into the top 10 of all time. Not just a competitive performance against one guy. But this is how pathetic the Tyson Fury fanboys are. Because Usyk has destroyed the myth that Tyson Fury was the best of his generation and the greatest of all time. I mean, what a myth that was. Because Usyk has come along and destroyed that myth, the next best thing for these pathetic Fury fanboys is to try and have Fury ride Usyk's coattails into the all-time great heavyweight rankings. This is a new low even for you guys. The reality is Tyson Fury isn't even a top 15 heavyweight of all time. Probably not even a top 20 if we're judging by resume, which is what you should be mainly judging by, resume, because everything else becomes far too subjective. So for example, you cannot base a heavyweight's all-time great ranking purely on who you think they would beat in a fantasy matchup. It has to be something more tangible than that. It has to be something less subjective, less opinion-based than that. So again, resume is what it primarily should be based on. I'm not saying exclusively, but primarily. And Tyson Fury doesn't have the type of resume that will put him in the top 15. Never mind top 10. I mean, top 5? Are you having a laugh? The man's not in the top 15. The only people who would try and argue that he is are people who are incredibly biased or are pushing some type of agenda or they're just psychotic. Fury might crack the top 20 on a good day. When boxing scholars are feeling generous, you might put Fury top 20 as far as his resume goes. It's all been a grand illusion with this Luke Partridge guy, the character you guys refer to as Tyson Fury. It's all been a grand illusion. You've been had. You've been duped. You've been bamboozled. Anyway, I'll leave it there. Give me your thoughts in the comment section below. Don't forget to like this video, share it, and subscribe if you haven't done so already. I'll catch you on the next one. I'm out.